What's going on, YouTube? In this dose, we're reacting to Usher's enthusiastic performance with Alicia Keys during the Super Bowl's halftime show. But before we react to it, like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications, share the content with your family, friends, colleagues, and peers so that they can ingest the Q pill as well. Let's get a dose of this shit. Now, as many of you know, I'm an Eagles fan, so I didn't tune into the Super Bowl last night. I don't care about the Chiefs. I don't care about the 49ers. Had no interest in watching it. However, I knew come Monday there was going to be something that headlined social media, something that was trending, that was going to cause me to have to react to it. And I found a perfect clip. Because although I didn't watch the Super Bowl halftime show, I definitely seen the clip of Usher grabbing on Alicia Keys, who just so happens to be a married woman, and him himself recently getting married. I believe they said he got his marriage license to marry his longtime girlfriend in Las Vegas. So now he's married as well. I had to react to it. We know when it comes to these little antics that these performers put on, sometimes if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And there's been a pattern here with Usher, because Usher is one of these performers who really likes to be touchy-feely, especially with married women, as many of you may recall back when he was holding on and grabbing on to Keke Palmer, rubbing on her body, caressing her, and her husband didn't take too kindly to it. Well, Swizz Beatz isn't exactly Keke's husband, but the point remains that these performers, when they get in settings with these beautiful women, they love to take advantage of the opportunity. And if you ask me, it's not as innocent as some people like to think. So let's take a look at the clip of Usher and Alicia Keys during the halftime performance and look at exactly what he did that got a lot of fans riled up. Y'all saw at the end there the way he grabbed on Alicia Keys, and I mean, this wasn't no performing grab. If you look closely, you can see the nigga's veins popping out of his arms. He was really holding on to Alicia Keys as if they were dating. And when the scene first popped up and I seen it on social media, I thought immediately for a split second, I said, did I miss something? Is Usher and Alicia Keys dating? That was the instantaneous vibe that I got from the way he was grabbing on her. For a split second, I had to remind myself, wait, isn't she married to Swizz Beatz? So that tells me how authentic him grabbing on her was. The amount of enthusiasm that he demonstrated and the way she enjoyed it, that was not performative. I don't care what y'all say. And of course, Swizz Beatz had a response to it, and his response is what I would expect, considering the fact that he knows who Alicia Keys is. He knows who he married. As a matter of fact, it would make no sense for him to marry her if he felt strongly about what she does and the type of guys that she interacts and makes music with. So I guess it's understandable that he would have to be okay with it. This was his response for those of you who are unaware. Y'all talking about the wrong damn thing. Y'all don't see that amazing dress covering the entire stadium. Tonight's performance was nothing but amazing with two amazing giants. Congrats at Usher and my love at Alicia Keys. That song is a classic. We don't do negative vibes on this side. We make history. Go see Giants at Brooklyn Museum. It's open until July. Blessings. So that was his response. And as I said, you would expect him to exhibit a certain level of security with what occurred, because he's been with Alicia for over a decade, and as I said, he's part of the business. He knows the business. He knows what is required for the business. But for those of us who are not a part of the business, this shit absolutely wouldn't fly. Do you know why? Because we look at things like this and we understand a man's motives. Anytime a human does something, you always want to examine their motive and their intention? What is the underlying compulsion that compels them to do the things that they do? And in this instance, Usher is one of them little horny ass dogs. He's one of them little horny ass dogs with the little pink thing hanging out, and he sees a woman, and any woman that he's performing with or that he calls up on stage that he's attracted to, he gets that little urge to just hump. That's what he is. He likes to touch, he likes to feel, and he seems to have a thing for doing it when it comes to married women. I don't know if consciously he gets high off of being able to touch married women knowing that they're married, but I will say he does like to test his boundaries, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and that's the issue I take with it. Usher knows what he's doing when he does this. He doesn't care about the fact that these women are married. He doesn't care how this is gonna make him look. He doesn't care what relationship he's disrespecting. Usher just wants to test his boundaries and wants to see if a woman is attracted to him. He's probing for attraction. Can I do this? Will she allow me to do this? It starts with him getting close. It starts with him hovering around her face. Then it starts with a little touch on the hip. Then it starts with a little touch on the arm. And the next thing you know, he's full on damn near dry humping the woman that he done called up on stage or he's performing with. That's his intent. He wants to test to see if this woman is attracted to him enough to where she'll allow him to do whatever he wants to her in that moment. Because this is a moment of excitement. They are performing. There's millions of people watching. But as a guy, this is not something you would be comfortable with your wife doing. You would feel disrespected. Most normal men would feel disrespected by their woman allowing another man to grip them up as if they're making love on stage fully clothed. I don't care how brief it was. And the thing is, a lot of women will say, oh, Swizz Beatz is a real man. He's secure. He's comfortable. Yeah, he's also a performer and he's also an idiot as well. He has to be comfortable with things that normal men don't have to be comfortable with because he's not exposed to his woman making music and getting close and touchy-feely with other men. Average guy is not exposed to his woman getting close and touchy-feely with other men for performance sake. That's a cope. Now, it can occur so much that you become desensitized to it, which I would assume is the case with Swizz Beatz. That's how often it occurs. He's used to it. He understands that's the business. But for a lot of men, this is not the business. Most men would not be okay with a man touching on their wife. We don't give a fuck if it's Usher or God himself. We're not okay with somebody touching our wife. Then you have to wonder in Usher's case, does he have any integrity, any personal code of ethics that he abides by, that he adheres to? Because he doesn't really have any regard for the fact that women are married, women are in relationships, women have boyfriends. And of course you could say, well, it's not his fault to respect those boundaries. But you just got to wonder, is there any level of integrity that he has when it comes to him interacting with women that he know is in a relationship or married? Because there are actors and there are actresses who won't be too intimate on camera. They won't even do things with the opposite sex when they're in relationships or somebody else is in a relationship because they don't want to come off as disrespectful in that relationship, and they're acting. Performing is not the same thing as acting. Performing is putting on a show, but it's not acting. This wasn't required. Usher didn't have to grab her. He didn't have to hold her. He could have did all his little Michael Jackson dances and ooh and all of that. He could have did all that shit and kept his distance enough to where he didn't have to end up hugging her so tight that you could see the veins in his arms and his chin rested on her shoulder as he tries to look around at her to get a gaze from her as if they're about to kiss. That was unnecessary. That was uncalled for. And that's just Usher being Usher, because what Usher is a ladies' man. What Usher is used to is doing whatever he wants to women. I know. I'm not famous, but I'm the same exact way. When I date women or when I'm out with women, I test boundaries. I probe. I see how close she'll allow me to get. I see how much she'll allow me to touch her because I'm trying to gauge what I can do and what I can't do. I'm trying to gauge if she's attracted to me. And y'all can say, Q, you're overthinking it. You're overanalyzing it. Well, no, I'm actually not. That's the whole point of me having a psych degree. That's the whole point of me studying human behavior the way that I do. I have to analyze everything people do. I like to analyze everything that people do because I understand that every action has some subconscious motivation that is triggered by some neurochemical response in the brain that causes them to do what they do. So you have to wonder what exactly was going on in Usher's brain that compelled him to do exactly what he did. It's attraction. It's the ego boost that he get from knowing that he can do something like this to a woman as beautiful as Alicia Keys, who is married, on the stage that he did it on. Oh, that absolutely made him feel like he was on top of the world. I would have did the same shit. But Usher, you gotta chill out, man. You gotta chill out. Now, he's lucky Swiss Beatz is a softer kind of guy who's understanding. He's a real man. He's a man who supports his woman, and he doesn't want to cause drama and conflict over something that his wife has been doing for years. As a matter of fact, it probably would create more drama and conflict if he was to be uncomfortable with it, because you knew who she was when you married her. You knew what you would have to deal with when you married her. So you absolutely can't have a problem with her doing what she's been doing before you married her. And this is what you have to be when you're one of these men who marries a woman in the entertainment industry. You have to be okay with her being entertaining by whichever means, by whichever metric is required of her to be as entertaining as she needs to be. That's why I can't date women in the entertainment industry. I would never be okay with another man grabbing on my woman. As I said before, I'm territorial. And the fact that I overthink everything and understand the motive and intention behind why we do what we do as human beings, what prompts us to do certain things, engage in certain acts. Yeah, I couldn't date a woman in the entertainment industry. This would have been a problem when we got home. But that's why I don't work in the entertainment industry, and that's why I'm not married to a woman in the entertainment industry. Because I simply would feel disrespected by this. I think Usher overstepped his boundaries simply because he's now married and he knows that Alicia Keys is married. And I'm not changing my mind. You guys are free to feel however you want, but that's just my opinion on it. That's my thoughts on it. But I'll catch you guys on the next dosage of Q Pill. I'm Suave Q, aka the Q Pill. Over and out.